Yeah, Glenn. You know, there's still no one here, but it's very important for everyone to remember that you are not alone, unless you're me.
In Hollywood, California. All right, well, this might be traffic or something. We're only going to be able to touch on a few of the principles and the values tonight, but you'll see them on the website, and we'll keep scrolling them and keep talking about them every night on this program. But I want to start with the first principle and tie it into the economy. You know, everybody says, you know, do we save these banks? Do we bail people out? Well, you know what? We don't have a liquidity problem in this country. We have a problem of trust.
Well, I'm not a crook.
If you are a lobbyist entering my administration, you will not be able to work on matters you lobbied on.
Fundamentals of our economy are strong.
As chairman of the Ways and Means Committee, I am and should be held to a higher standard.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Read my lips.
I want to introduce you to two of the most honorable men I know, and this is one of the reasons why I've been so emotional, because I love these guys. They are like brothers to me. First, Sergeant First Class Greg Stubbe. He is U.S. Army Special Forces. He was seriously injured in combat in Afghanistan in 2006. A Taliban member detonated an IED which sent a 1-pound piece of shrapnel through his hip and his intestines. Miraculously, he survived, in addition to being lit on fire in the blast and losing part of his leg. He is with us today. Also with us is retired Navy SEAL Marcus Luttrell. He's the author of the book. I hope you've read this book. It's amazing, Lone Survivor. Marcus was also injured in combat in Afghanistan in 2005 during an extraordinary firefight that led to the largest loss of life in American Navy SEAL history. Marcus managed to crawl through the mountains for miles to safety. His story is absolutely remarkable. I wanted to talk to you guys because I don't think we can make any progress. First of all, thank you for your service, both of you guys.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. I mean, I look at the newspapers today. Here's Madoff going to jail. On the New York Times, here's a story about how Congress was meeting with banks behind the scenes, and one of their Maxine Waters' husband was on the board of directors of one of these banks, and I mean, we can't trust anyone. Marcus, let me just ask you quickly, how could you have survived, or could you have survived, if it wasn't for loyalty and honesty and honor?
Well, those are the core values that we survive on in the military, and especially in the SEAL teams. I was in a unique situation. The particular mission that I was on, obviously, I'm a SEAL team. Being part of a team, I'm not an individual. And what happened to me was I lost my whole team, so I had to go on everything else, in order to survive. And the loyalty and the honor and everything actually came by way of a Pashtun village, when I managed to crawl 7 miles through those mountains and wound up in that village, and they're the ones that saved my life. It's one of those things. It's something a lot of people use those as a punchline or a word, and they really don't know what that word means until you actually experience it. I looked at it, and there was a point in time when I was in the village after they had rescued me, and the Taliban had encircled the village and were in there trying to get me every day and trying to kill me and stuff like that, and put a bounty on my head and whatnot. And they have a custom and a tradition. Once they bring somebody in and they harbor them and they give them food and shelter, and they'll fight to the death to keep them alive. Now, I spent most of my life after 9/11. When 9/11 went down, I was pretty, I was pissed, sir, to say the least. And I had one objective when I went over there, and that was to wreak as much havoc and pain to those people as humanly possible, to pay back for what happened up here. I used to keep a laminated picture of a woman who died in the Twin Towers, and every time I'd go out, I'd take a look at her and I'd be like, "This, I got one more for you." And it was quite the conundrum when I got into that village, because I'm over here and I did everything I can to disrupt and cause as much pain to those people as humanly possible, and even probably some of those people in that village, and here they are saving my life. I couldn't walk out in the street right now if I was shot and get a ride to the hospital, and I crawl into this village, and honor and integrity and commitment to those people is a way of life. That's how you survive.
Greg, you talked to me on my radio program today about a piece of paper that every time you guys come back from a mission, you have to, it's filled out and it's a report on how you did. Can you explain this?
Well, even for daily duties, our evaluation structure, it's a rating system that evaluates our ability to live and work by these principles and values. So I'm very proud to represent the Army today, very proud that the Army, America's Army, to be associated with these principles and values, I think is right on target, because it's an all-volunteer force that's composed of people from small towns and big cities across this country. And when you sign on, when you take that oath, you're accepting the fact that you'll have to overcome the fear of dying many times to overcome challenges and accomplish the mission.
Could you tell, Mina, do you happen to have, did you get the sheet for me of the, because what you guys go through and what you were asked after a mission, I want to read it to you, and I want to ask you, America, you tell me if you think any of our politicians, or really, quite honestly, some of us could actually be held up to this same standard. Will you just tell the story that you told me right before we went on the air about what happened at the hotel? Could you tell that story?
We arrived at the hotel here in New York City, and I walked down the street, and I didn't get a lot of eye contact from anybody, and I'm kind of a touchy-feely guy, so I like talking to people, especially when I come home to America.
You're a crier.
I'm a weakling. So,
real men don't cry. I'm just saying.
It's Green Beret, what do you expect?
Anyway, so you went to the hotel.
We arrived at the front desk, and there was an obvious American citizen, looked just like me, might have come from my kind of background, that was a bellboy. He was transporting our bags, and there was an African-American gentleman. Turns up he was an African from Ghana. He insisted on carrying our bags, and he kept pointing at the flag on my shoulder and thanking me, and I didn't understand what was happening exactly, but when he got to our room and unloaded our bags, he insisted on showing me photographs. He was so happy to see us. He just wanted to touch us and say thank you.
Because you were wearing a uniform.
Because I was wearing a uniform, he was thanking me, and he showed me pictures of his children, his son and his daughter, who will be getting master's degrees, because he's working hard here in New York City to earn that education for them. And I just thought that is an honorable American way of life, to come in the front door and earn your citizenship and then create a better tomorrow.
Yeah. America, I don't know about you, but I get great strength from the military. I trust the military more than anything else in this country right now. And I get great strength from our military. And it means something to me, and I wish we were more like these guys. We must start restoring honor and integrity. Mean what you say and say what you mean. I'm going to show you how to do this and keep this in your own life coming up in just a little while. We're going to take a break. But I'm going to ask you in this hour to gather with friends. Keep friends together. And the gatherings might seem meaningless or a pain or just fun, but it's essential to our survival and our country's survival. I'll explain next.